Welcome to another episode of Planty Chores. My name is Rain. This week I'm going to be trying to grow an avocado tree from the seed. I have done this before in the past. You can see me here in the video peeling the skin off of it right now. I have tried many times. I have only been successful one time. Hopefully I will find success again. I'll also be setting up a self-watering system for a couple of my plants with zero plastic. I have found a very affordable way to use only ceramic, metal, and cotton. I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Morning, guys. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning right now, and I'm finally going to be making my chunky mix. I'm going to be making some type of aroid mix. I've got all my ingredients here for my substrates, and I have my notes here, and I'm trying to mess around with the proportions of each ingredient because it is dry out here, and I'm thinking I'm going to use more cocoa coir than most people use. I've seen so many different recipes online, and I've come to the conclusion that I want to use 5 different ingredients, and one of them is cocoa coir, which retains moisture really well, and I want to use more of it because I'm watering my plants way too much because the soil dries out so fast, and I don't have time for all that. So I'm going to see what I can do with mixing a nice chunky mix that is good at with drainage, but also does retain some moisture. So I've got this little plastic bin that I've had forever. I had no use for it, and now I finally have use for it. All right, since I was talking about cocoa coir first, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one first. Got this huge bag. Wow, I don't think I'll ever be able to use up all of this, but I didn't see any smaller bags at my local nursery. So I need some scissors. I bet you this is going to be dusty as a mummy, so I'm going to wear a mask. Sorry if I sound muffled. Okay, this is like really packed in here. Am I supposed to chisel it out? Okay, I should wear gloves because I don't want my fingernails to get dirty. So I guess you just kind of chisel this out. It's so compacted. Wow. Okay, so I've got about 25% cocoa coir, and now I'm gonna do orchid bark. So let me just cut this open. All these brand new bags. This is the first time I've ever worked with this stuff. Okay, so this one I can just pour in. I'm gonna use about 25% of that. Yeah, so that's about 50%. Okay, what's next? Now I need perlite. I'm gonna do 20% perlite. That perlite is super dusty. I'm so glad I have my mask on. So I didn't clean it, but oh well. It's just gonna have to be in the soil. Okay, so my next ingredient, and I'm totally like not measuring this out exactly. Charcoal. I need 10% charcoal. to mix it up. Okay, so I have not added soil because I'm going to be reusing the soil that is already in, that my peace lily is already in. So I'm going to be repotting this because the roots are coming out at the bottom. So she's going to go into a little bit of a bigger pot, and I am going to rig a self-watering thing. There's a gnat in there. So there's a drainage hole there. I've got myself some cotton cord. I'll use this as a wick, and it looks like it will fit through there. And then I've got this, so the pot fits in here perfectly. And then I'll have the water in this bowl underneath it, and the wick will sit in there. So I got all this stuff really super cheap. I think I paid under $6 for the whole thing, with including the pot. Well, I mean, this was $5, but I'm only going to be using a piece of it. Sorry if it's really loud, but it's Saturday. Everyone is home. Everyone's doing their landscaping. Dogs are out barking. But let's see if we can get through this. First of all, I need to take out my peace lily from the pot. So I'm just going to gently squeeze her out. Okay, so I did water this the other day, but it's already, yeah, it's like dries out pretty quickly. So that came out pretty easily. And look at the roots. Yeah, the roots look pretty healthy to me. So I'll just try to break up the soil a little so that I can mix it in with the rest of my substrate. I don't think I'm going to need that much more in this pot, the bigger pot. Oh, I wonder if I should put rooting powder. I should get my rooting powder. Yeah, so I feel bad for messing with the roots like this. I'm going to tear off that dead leaf. I don't want that in the soil. So I'm going to just sprinkle it with some of the root powder. Wow, but these roots look super healthy though. I'm very happy about this. So I probably shouldn't, I don't know. I mean, I don't need to take all the soil out. Okay, that's good. And then I'll do this before I forget. Sprinkle this on. I'm gonna try to do this quickly because I'm out in the sun. And I don't want to burn my peace lily. And also, I know that roots don't like sunshine. Okay. So now let me get some of this. Mix it with the soil. I don't know, these huge chunks are like so satisfying to me. Okay, I have to set up the wicking system. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the cord. Cut the cord. So if this goes through, I need it to go up into the soil, like, I don't know, that much maybe? Like an inch? Maybe an inch? Yeah, so then I'll cut like right here. All right, so let me just poke this through, and then I'll have like that much hanging out at the end. And then, so now I just need to fill it with soil and make sure that my wick doesn't fall out. Oh, I should cut off this plastic part. I didn't realize that was there. Okay, try to make sure that these are pretty even at the bottom. And then I only need about, I think, this much. So I'm going to fill in the bottom. The hole is quite large. My soil might fall through. Maybe I can get some huge chunks of orchid bark to keep the cord up in substrate. It's kind of I've pulled it too much. Okay, I think that's good right there. Let's see if the roots will fit in my root bowl. So the cord will be touching the roots. I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem or not, but I'm just experimenting. This was a $5 piece, Lily, so if it doesn't work out, I'll try again. I'll make changes and figure it out eventually. Okay, I want to make sure my lily is straight up. Oops, there's a root coming out. My peace lily has not been getting enough water because it was in this tiny pot and it was starting to get root bound. So it's drying up so fast. So I'm hoping that this new self-watering system is going to help it out and help me out so I don't have to water so much. So I guess this is kind of like a top dressing there. It looks cute. I like it. Peace lily doesn't look straight. I don't think it has ever been straight. Okay, I'm sure with future waterings, the soil will settle down and then the plant will just grow in its new surroundings. So now I will place this in here like so. This will be the water cache and it fits perfectly right over it. These did not come together. I just found these separate pieces all in the same store, Daiso. And look at that. It's perfect. I love it. Oh my gosh, I feel so happy. I will let you guys know how it goes in the future in my future updates. Something I forgot to mention is that I know I didn't wet the cotton cord when I put it in the pot, but I'm just going to fill this cache up with water right now and let the cord soak up the water that way because I just watered my peace lily the other day. So once I feel that the soil starts to dry out on top, then I'll start doing top waterings. But for right now, I'm just going to keep some water in the bowl. All right, so I've got my vintage copper watering pot. I'm just going to fill up the reservoir almost to the top. There, that should be good. Okay, I'm so happy about this. I have a no plastic solution to setting up a self-watering system here. And it was pretty cheap too. Like, I think self-watering pots are about $5 and they're made of plastic. And I got this, I'm pretty sure I paid under $6. This is ceramic, this is metal, and this is also some type of ceramic. So I feel so happy about that. And I'm using a cotton cord. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to change that out every once in a while. But I'm thinking that maybe it'll last as long as how do I say this? Like the plant is gonna grow. And I think the next time I have to repot, like once it gets root bound in this, then I'll change out the cord. I think it should last that long, I hope. I don't know. Do you guys have experience with that? Do these how long do they last? So I'm just gonna like make sure that the cord gets submerged in the water. It's kind of just laying on top. I think once it soaks up the water, it'll just like lay in there and then slowly bring the water up into the soil. And I'm looking at these cocoa core pieces and I feel like I did something wrong. Like I just kind of chipped off the pieces so I could get it into the mix, but am I supposed to do something else with it? Like, am I supposed to soak it and let it expand or something like that? Because it looks weird now. It's like these huge chunks. Is that right? I guess I should look it up online. Yeah, I forgot to do that before. I was in a hurry. Okay, next up, avocado seed. During COVID, I don't know what got into me. I wanted to try to grow an avocado seed. So I looked up instructions online and it actually worked. I got one of them to grow for me and it got pretty large. I did a water propagation and it grew leaves. It was really beautiful. I didn't have as much appreciation back then as I do now. I'm so glad that I have photos of it. I'll post it on the screen. But the leaves are so cute. Now that I look at them, now that I have all of these plants, I really, really love the look of the avocado seed leaves. So I'm going to try again. I've been trying actually, and I have been unsuccessful. I eat a lot of avocados and I've tried many seeds, and for some reason it hasn't worked out. And I don't know if it's because it's been winter. Maybe it just won't sprout during the winter. Maybe now that spring is around the corner. Wait, is it spring yet? I don't know, but it's looking nice outside. It feels like spring to me. I'm going to try it again and see what happens. So I've got myself a little tiny jar. This was like a supplement jar. So it's dark, which is good because the roots don't like sunlight. And then I'm going to use toothpicks. And I did peel off the skin. I did not do that previously, like back in 2020 or whenever it was. I did not peel the skin off, but this time I did just because it came off so easily. And I've seen people with corms and they do peel the skin off just because it helps it to sprout faster. So we'll see how that goes. And I did wash it with soap and it's been sitting out for a couple of days. So it's dry and let's give it a go. Okay, so I've got my round toothpicks made of white birch. I got these at Whole Foods Market and it was like 79 cents. I was not expecting them to be that cheap at Whole Foods Market. And I'm going to need 3 of them. And then this is the bottom. So it'll go like this. And what I'm going to do is poke holes towards the top and angle it because I want the bottom portion of the seed to be in the water. And it just goes in easily through that first layer. It's pretty soft. Just poke it in. And last one. And then it just sets right in like this. See that? And then I can fill this jar up with water so that half of the seed is covered, or maybe a little more than half. And then hopefully it'll start sprouting roots first. And then the leaves come out here, the stem. I'm going to give it some water. I don't want to pour water on top of the seed. I don't know if that's bad or not, but I'm just going to fill it. And then, yeah, that looks good. There. So it's submerged all the way up to like just under the toothpicks. That's perfect. And then I'll give it some light. Okay, so my gnats are multiplying. So I went to the nursery and someone recommended this All Seasons Horticultural and Dormant Spray Oil. It's a concentrate and it's an insect spray. I think it's like an oil. Yeah, it's an oil. And I'm going to mix it up with my water. I have a gallon of water here. So I was told to put 3 to 5 tablespoons in a gallon of water with a drop of soap. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. All right, I'll put the soap in first. Oops, wait, is it open? Yeah, it's always open. I think that was too much. Um, well, it's in there. So now I'm going to put the spray oil concentrate. So it's a spray oil, but they told me to just water my plants with it like I would a normal watering. So I'm just gonna put in 3 tablespoons because I don't have that many gnats yet. And I think I'm supposed to shake this. Okay. It's brand new, so it's totally sealed. Let me just get this off. I hope it's not a skin irritant. All right, so this little scoop came with it. I can see it's labeled, so 3 tablespoons is right there. So it doesn't have to be exact. That's under 3. Okay, that's about 3 right there. So let me just get this in here. Oh, wow. Okay. Almost overflowing. Close this up. And I'm going to wash my hands because I got this oil on me. And it's probably a good idea if I label this thing. So I'm going to use my Sharpie and I'm going to put insect oil spray and today's date, which is the 18th. So it's March 18th, 2025. And now I'm going to water my plants. So I don't have that many plants to water today. I think only 2 or 3. I've been watering all my other plants just every day throughout the week. I'll check on all my plants and whatever needs watering, I'll do it. But now that I have the insect oil, I'm going to start using that in all of my soiled pots because I don't want my gnats to get out of control. But I got these super cheap plastic bins for just like a couple dollars at Lowe's, and this one already cracked. So just a word of advice, if you decide to use these, hold it with 2 hands and try to like distribute the weight evenly, because when I was dumping out the water, I accidentally like let go on one side, and so it cracked when I was holding it with just one hand. So I'll probably have to just use this for soil and not for watering my plants anymore. So I got a few comments on my last video and I'm so grateful. I got some advice. So Sharon was suggesting that I use a water conditioner. She's a local in Vegas and we have super hard water. So I've not gotten the water conditioner yet, but in the future, I'll start mixing that in with my water as well. So hopefully that will help my plants even more. Also, Froggy Sore, thank you. He or she made the suggestion that I let the plant sit in the water that drains out so that it can soak back up and like really soak the soil. And she was saying, or he or she was saying, that you cannot overwater in one sitting, I guess. Like when you're watering it, you can't give it too much water at that time. It's the if you allow it to dry out between waterings, then you won't get root rot. So that's super helpful for me. And then also Susan, or Suzanne, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce it right, was saying that it's probably not a good idea for me to use this copper watering can because excess copper maybe can harm the plant. So they do need a little bit of copper, but this might be too much. So I'm gonna have to get a new watering can, but this is all I have right now. So I'm just gonna have to use this for now. We've got a severe weather warning. So I do have to go out today, but it's not gonna be fun. Okay, I forgot to mix this up, so I'm going to mix it, shake it. Okay, that should be good enough. Now, transfer it to my pot. Oh my gosh, I think I have way too much soap in here. I can really see the oil too. I feel like the oil rose to the top. I think I should dilute this. Do you see that? It's so sudsy. You can see the oil. I don't know. I feel like it's too much. I don't want to kill my plant. I think I'm going to dilute this. So I poured most of it back into the jug so that there was like maybe a quarter left. And then I filled it with just regular water. So it still looks really oily and sudsy at the top, but I'm just going to test this out. So this will be my first run through, and I don't know, I guess this is a test. I'm only watering a couple plants with this today, so if they live, yay. My marble queen is so full. I love this plant so much. I need to prune it, especially this leaf up here is dead. And then I'm going to cut off one of these back vines and propagate it. Oh, I didn't have to clip it. It just came right out. Okay, this leaf doesn't look so great. That one's gone. Okay, so this is the back of my plant, and I've decided I'm going to cut this vine off and propagate it. It's got some aerial roots here, and I don't know how many nodes, but I'll go down as low as I can, like maybe all the way down to the soil. Oh, I guess one of the aerial roots like rooted down, or a couple. Oh wow. Yeah. Yep. I think those are aerial roots, like really rooted down. So I'm going to clean this up and then propagate it. So I'm going to try propagating this in pond, and I'm very happy with how it looks. It looks like it's going to be successful. Well, we'll see how it does in the pond. And this plant here is totally dried up. So let me just put a little bit of my insect oil and water. So here's my dilution of a dilution. And this soil is completely dry. I just watered this plant not too long ago. Like, I don't think it's even been a week yet. And I totally soaked it, but now it's completely dry again. It's a really large plant, so I guess it just needs a lot more water. I wonder if I should repot this to a bigger pot. I don't know. And I think I want to set up a self-watering system for this plant too. Okay, so now I'm going to water both plants with pure water, not distilled, just regular tap water. All right, so I watered them off camera, and now I'm just letting them soak in the water that's in the pan that came out. So I do have my propagation in here in the water, and I'm just going to like clean off the soil in there. Propagation time. So I've got my cutting here, and I'm going to use this. I just cut this up. My kids really wanted organic apple juice, so I got it for them, and it happens to be in this plastic. So I'm going to reuse it rather than throwing it away. And I'm going to take off this bottom leaf so that I can submerge this part into the substrate. So yeah, I just ripped it off. Sorry, leaf. Thank you for your service. All right, and that's ready to go. And I'm going to do pawn. I'm going to put Lega clay balls at the bottom and then pawn on top. Okay, I complained about the leca floating up when I poured in the water, but I'm not going to soak it again, so I don't have time. I just rinsed it off, and I'm just going to put it straight in. Pawn time. So I have, I think, a little over a cup of leca clay balls in here, and the top of the clay balls goes to about this line right here, so like at the bottom of this label. So I'm going to be filling it up with water up to this point, and then hopefully the pond will stay moist enough to water the plant from there. This is totally an experiment, and I have no idea if it's going to help with the propagation or not. And I still haven't decided if I should do like a water propagation within the pond, like fill it all the way up with water just until it grows roots, or if I should just keep it semi-hydro because it already has aerial roots. I think as an experiment, I'm going to try doing semi-hydro because it has aerial roots. I'm going to see if the plant will stay alive with the water only down here in the lega, and then moist pond. Don't want to forget my rooting powder. I almost did. And I did not let this scab over. I forgot about that. But that's okay. Okay, I got my rooting stuff on there. I mean, yes, got my root powder on there. And now I just need to fill the rest up with pond. This propagation is going to take a lot of pond, but it's a good thing that it can be reused. So I used almost all of my pond for this propagation. I still have the ingredients, the rocks. I just have to wash them and mix them together. So that's all right. But this is what it looks like now, and it's propped up pretty nicely, I think. And I left room back here so that I could put a stake. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go to like Home Depot or someplace like that and get one of those sticks that's used for mixing paint. So I think you can get those for free, because I don't want to invest in a pole for this. I don't know if it's gonna live or not. First of all, I didn't scab over the end, the cutting, and I've never done a propagation like this with pond in semi-hydro. So it's experimental, but I do want it to have something to grow up if it decides to do that. My last step is to fill it with water, and I'm just gonna fill up to this line right here. All right, light is fading. I'm gonna try to do this as fast as I can. So I just repotted this peace lily the other day, and I used the cocoa core, and I didn't read the instructions. So I think you're supposed to, I looked it up online, and you're supposed to soak it before you use it. And I did not do that. So when I watered it, the wick took up all of the water from the bowl, and then the cocoa core expanded. So now it's coming up above the line where I had set it. So I'm going to take some of it out. Okay, so now I'm going to repot my marble queen. So this is in a tiny 4-inch pot, and the soil keeps drying out super quick, so fast. So I'm going to put it in a self-watering pot, just like my peace lily. So I have the exact same setup, except I got a bigger bowl for the cash so that it has more water. And I'm going to reverse. So with the peace lily, I had a smaller bowl at the bottom. So now I'm going to switch it for my marble queen so that the bigger bowl is at the bottom. That makes sense. So I've just soaked some water in here. I poured a whole pot of water so that the cocoa core could expand and soften up. And you're supposed to let it turn into a soil consistency, which is what is happening. So that's good. Yeah, so there's no water pooling at the bottom. The cocoa core has soaked it all up. So now my soil should be staying moist longer, which is good for me out here in the desert. I want it to stay moist for at least a week. So I'm going to test this out. All right, so I'm going to take this out, and it is really dry. The soil is probably, well, okay, it's a little bit moist at the bottom. I'm going to break this up because I want to mix in my mix. And these roots look okay, I guess. Yeah, they look okay to me. So, you know what? I'm kind of curious how many plants are actually in here. Because it seems like they've taken, see, like, I got this as a baby, but I don't think it was actually a baby. I think it was a bunch of propagations that they put in the pot. And these are like cut here. So it seems like they gave me some mid cuttings. Okay, so there's one. And there's two. There's three. Oh, there's a baby leaf. It's stuck. And I think this is 4 and 5. Or I don't know, maybe these are all stuck as one. Seems like I have 4 different plants in here that were all propagations. 4 or 5. And there's even just like cuttings like this in here. It's weird. I'm going to take these out. Take out these roots or whatever, dead roots. Okay, so I'm going to reuse this soil and just put it into my new mix. I think they use new soil, so. I think I actually want to add more orchid bark and perlite. Okay, now I need my wick. And the bowl is longer this time, so I want the wick to be touching the bottom of the bowl. so that when the water gets really low, it's still getting all the water. And then there needs to be, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches of the loop inside of the pot. So I will just cut it right here. Yes, that works. Okay, so now I'm going to fill the bottom with soil, making sure that my loop is in the pot. And I'm going to put some orchid bark through the loop so it doesn't fall through the hole. Some big chunks in there. And now I can arrange my plant how I want. And I also have, I forgot to mention, a stick. I'll use this painter stick as a stake and see if some of these plants will choose to climb up. I feel like I'm in a race with the sun. All right, so, I mean, it already looks better to me. It was just so crammed in that tiny pot. Oh, I forgot to put my rooting powder. Does it need it? I mess with the roots. I should put it, right? I'll just sprinkle it into the soil. Oh, I think that's too much. I'm so glad the wind died down. It feels really nice out right now. So I think it's probably not a good idea to put a stick in the soil because I think it will get rotted. So I wonder if I should cover it with something like a glove. But that would be so ugly. Uh, All right, you guys, you're catching the sunset. So I've decided that this plant is going to stick to the stick, hopefully. And if it does, it's going to be difficult to change the stick out if it gets rotted. So I think I should cover it and protect it from getting rotted in the soil. So I'm going to use these rubber bands to secure it on here, and my phone is about to die. And I'm running out of storage and I'm running out of sunlight. So if I get cut off, I'll have to show you the finished result another time. Okay guys, that's what I did. So I'm just gonna stick it through. Okay, I've reached the bottom and I'm gonna push the soil up against it so it's more secure. So I may need to add more soil in the future as it starts to settle down from waterings, but it's just gonna have to stay like this for now. Okay, there it is. Here is an update with my Hoya pandurata and my Monstera laniata. These are the first two plants I've ever tried using in semi-hydro with the pond. My first observation is that the Hoya is more thirsty than the Monstera. I've got an emergency situation here. My philodendron tortum is not doing so well. Two of the leaves just popped off today. I barely touched them and they just popped off. These two are still hanging on for dear life, but they're yellowing. This one is getting black spots on it. I don't know. I may have over fertilized it. The first night that I got it, I gave it fertilized water and I had forgotten. So when it ran out of water, I gave it more fertilizer. I gave it a different kind of fertilizer, but I don't know if it's from that or if it was just a dying plant and there was no saving it, but I'm still going to try to save it. I'm going to take it out and see what the roots look like, and I might try putting it in pond and just as an experiment to see if I can bring it back to life. It was in a self-watering pot. Maybe it just had too much water. I honestly do not know. So I'm going to dig this thing out and see what it looks like in there and then make some decisions from there. So I have no idea what they use here. Is this cocoa core and soil? And soil does look really moist, maybe even wet. Oops, I think I just broke some of the roots. I need to be more careful. It's hard to distinguish the roots from the cocoa core. Okay, let me just move this out of the way. Oh, this poor plant. Okay, I'm definitely going to put some rooting powder on here. I'm going to try to get as much of the soil off as I can. And the root system looks kind of small. At one point, I think this plant used to be much larger. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it suffered from root rot. It's hard to tell though, because the soil is so wet. And I think I am ripping a lot of the roots. They're so fine. I wonder if I should hose this down to try to get the soil off. There are a couple of huge roots in there. Hopefully they can be saved. Okay, I feel like I need to use some water. Oh yeah, I can see there's definitely root rot right here. So I think this plant has been too wet for too long. All right, I found myself a tiny cup. I'm going to do my semi-hydro setup. And this time I did soak the clay pebbles. They have been soaking for a long time, 2 days, I think. Okay, that's good. And I'm actually going to clip the roots at the bottom. Okay, so I got that done. I was in a race with the sun. It is dark outside right now. I finished just in time, but I forgot to put the rooting powder. So I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should just sprinkle it on top, but I don't think that's going to be effective if it's just on the top. And I definitely don't want to take it back out. It has already suffered enough trauma, and I already put water in, so that's not going to help me like let it sink down. So I guess I'll just leave it and I'll sprinkle some on top. So the next time I water it, hopefully it will seep in. But the water level is up to here right now. And there was some soil left on the roots. There's no way I could get all of it off without like really messing with the roots. So hopefully it's going to be okay. I mean, it's got some good roots in there. So I'm hoping that it's going to bounce back. It may lose these leaves. What I'm hoping for is that it grows a good root system and then sprout some new leaves, I hope. So even if I do lose these leaves, I'm just going to hold out hope that the roots are growing and I'll just let it sit. And when it dries out, I'll give it more water up to the top of the leca clay balls and just see what happens. If after, I don't know how long I should wait, 6 months, I guess, if it doesn't have new growth, then I'll take it out and look at the roots and then determine whether I should throw it out or still try to keep it alive. And I'm going on vacation. I'm leaving tonight. So I'm not going to see this thing for 5 days. And I just know that the suspense is going to kill me. I feel like if anything happens to these leaves, it's going to happen within this week and I'm going to miss it. So whatever state it's in, when I come back, I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to do. Thank you for watching until the end. Please stay tuned for more planty chores and future updates. Until then, enjoy your plants.